Can we have too much transparency? No. Can we have too much sunshine in politics? No. But there are people who say yes. There are groups who say yes. Large corporate interests say yes. We don't want too much transparency. We don't want too much sunshine. Fascists say yes. Dictators say yes. People that are on the right side of issues, people who are working in politics because they care about their community, you know what? They want voters to be educated. If voters don't agree with them, that's fine. Most of them want the electorate to know what their issues are. They want the electorate to know what they stand for. They want the electorate to know what their values are. But dictators and large corporate interests, they do not. They want too often to pull the wool over people's eyes, to give you something that may sound great, the Group for Truth, Justice, and the American Way. But try digging below those pretty words sometimes and you will find a whole lot of nothing, a whole lot of mystery. And that's what we need to get more out of politics, because democracy only works if there is transparency. Your vote only matters if you know what you're voting for. I'm a voter too, and I want easier access to know who's behind ballot measures, who's behind candidates, and why, and what do those candidates believe. And AB 14 is going to go a long way in doing that. I don't know about you, but when I watch television and I see a political ad, I cannot see who's paying for it. Not on my television. I think I'd have to be in an IMAX theater to be able to read those disclosures. This bill will change that. Looking at a flyer that comes in your mailbox, it should be more obvious to you as a voter who's behind that. Then you can make a decision. Maybe you'll still vote for it, but you have every right to know who's supporting a particular measure and who's supporting candidates. We are at an unprecedented time in this country, unfortunately. We're at a time where ordinary people right now are in a very existential fight for their rights against very large corporate interests and very large political interests. And what this bill does is it takes a step towards empowering the people that should be empowered, which is the ordinary people, ordinary Americans, to make those decisions. We have to fight every day and claw back things like Citizen United that say corporations have all the rights of people, but none of their responsibilities. Well, part of that responsibility should always be being transparent and having disclosure, and that's what AB 14 starts to do. And I will be there, and I guarantee to be there with my colleagues to make those phone calls and to fight, because this is that important. And I will just mention before I leave a small bill that I hope they will consider a companion bill, which is AB 1458 that we've just introduced, that will require all campaigns to have on the front page of their website a direct link to their contribution forms, so that voters won't have to try to find their ways around the internet, struggle to figure out which page and where they find that information. You should be able to have something bright on that website that says, click here to see who's funding me. And you click it and you see it. So I hope that you'll all also help me to get that passed. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you for the rights of ordinary Americans. Thank you. Thanks.